Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here to bring you a wig review. I'm here to show you Toni of Beverly Phoebe. And I have Phoebe in two colors. I have her in a gray called Minx, and I have her in a gray called Silverstone. So if you're curious about Phoebe or these gray colors, please stick around for the rest of the video. I'll show you everything. All right, everyone, this is going to be a fun video because once again, I was able to snag myself two of the same wig in two different colors. Whenever I have the opportunity to do that, I jump on it because it gives us such a good opportunity to see if there's some consistency between styles, and sometimes just seeing it in a couple of different colors can be really helpful as you assess the piece. So on my head right now, I have a wig called Phoebe on. This is by Toni of Beverly, and the color I have on my head right now is called Silverstone. It is a gorgeous kind of white gray and just stunning. And so I'm gonna more towards the end, I'll talk about the colors a little bit more. Obviously, you'll be able to see them throughout this whole video. But you know, in my videos, I really try to cover everything that's could come up in any possible question about a wig. I just consider the fact that you're considering spending your hard-earned money, and I truly want to cover everything I possibly can. So we're going to talk all about the wig. We'll look inside the cap. I'll show you both wigs on me. I'll give you my impressions, and then we'll talk about color, and I will show you the color outside as well. Because I'm covering so much in this video, I do timestamp things in the description. So if you're here just to see the color, look at the timestamps in the description. Just drop down the box below, and you'll be able to go straight to the color sections. And I do show you color outside as well. All right, that's a lot. Let's get moving. Why don't I show you Phoebe from all sides? Try to linger on the back because I know that's so important. And in a short piece like this, I think it's extra important. So you can take a look and see, you know, it has a very slight beveling or stack. It is super slight though. It isn't a trendy kind of thick stack. It's just very professional. And I'm going to talk about a bit of a comparison to another very popular wig called Ignite by Jon Renau. And I do have both of their measurements, so I can tell you what they are. And then that way, if you've seen Ignite, you can kind of get a sense of how this might be similar and different. All right, so this wig is darling. You know, I scan the sales all the time. I'm always looking for good deals on wigs. It brings me more content for you guys. And then if I purchase a wig that isn't for me, I can always resell it, and then I won't like lose my house with this hobby. If I can resell a wig and take a $20, between $20 and $30 or less loss on my purchase, I consider that a success because I figure this is my hobby, so I'm willing to put a little bit of money into that as well. And so when I found both of these Phoebes on clearance on the name brand wigs website, I snapped them up because I thought, oh my gosh, not only will I get to see this really cute style, I absolutely love Ignite. I just love Ignite. And so this style is real similar. But I got to do some grays, and I really want to bring a variety of colors to you guys because I know people wear all different things who come and watch my videos. And so if I can bring you grays, which I don't have a lot of opportunity to do, then I'm going to jump on it. And that is what I got to do with this one. So let me just tell you a little bit about my impressions of this. To start with, it is an extremely comfortable cap, and it fits me very, very well. Toni of Beverly runs pretty true to average, I would say. My experience has been that it runs pretty true to average. So I think it fits a variety of people. I get just the tiniest amount of extra cap up here, which is really typical, but it's not so much that I feel like it's giving me a cone head, which can happen with wigs if they're too big. And they have great stretch. So I would say this wig is going to fit a variety of head sizes, from sort of average, petite, as long as you're not really petite. Obviously, the smaller you are, the harder it is to get wigs to fit. Or I even think it might be okay for up to average, slightly average large, just because it does have, I have a little extra room. It is cinched in just a little bit on me, and I do have that extra cap. So I just want to tell you that this is going to, I think, fit a variety of people. This is regular synthetic, so the fibers are regular synthetic, and they are wonderful. They feel super realistic. They're nice and light, so they do look very, very realistic. I really like Tony Beverly fibers. I've had a few different wigs by this brand, and I've always been happy with them, and I think that they last, and they, you know, it's just a great, great quality piece. The density on this wig is perfect. For the amount of hair that this has, it is not overwhelming, but you also don't have to worry about seeing wefting. It is honestly the most perfect density. I could not ask for better. I do not feel that I'm going to be showing the cap anywhere, but I don't feel like it's super heavy or super thick. It really, truly is great. It's a great sort of moderate to light density. I'm really impressed with it. The permatease is light, but it does have some permatease. There is permatease kind of right up in here. Just sort of all around the cap, there is a light coating of permatease. It is absolutely necessary. If you did not have any permatease in this piece, what would happen is it would lose all of its shape. And really, this is such a polished, professional looking haircut, essentially, because it's got a little bit of permatease to give it just a little bit of shaping. You absolutely need that in some wigs. I would say a wig like this would not be attractive if it had zero permatease. So if you're attracted to this style and you like what you see and you're typically a no permatease wig sister, I really want to encourage you to rethink that stance, because I think you won't get a super attractive looking cut like this without a little bit of permatease. That brings me to the cap features. So on this wig, we've got a lace front, and that's it. There is no monofilament, no monopart. Now, that can be a positive and that can be a negative. The positive is that keeps the price point lower. The more of those cap features that you have, the more expensive a wig is. So really, honestly, for Tony Beverly, which can be a little pricey sometimes, this was a really, really great price. Even before I got it on the clearance price, because they must have been open box items. But the negative of that is sometimes you can see visible permatease on a wig that doesn't have it. My caution, and it's not bad, but this does have a little bit of visible permatease. I will tell you how to deal with it. But here's my caution. When you get a non-rooted wig, and both of these colors do not have any rooting, you can typically see that visible permatease on a wig that doesn't have a monofilament. If you are really, really worried about that, if you just cannot stomach wearing a wig, even if there's the tiniest bit of visible permatease, then number one, I kind of steer you away from basic caps, because that can be a little more common with those. And number two, I would steer you toward rooted wigs. My experience is that when you get a rooted, that darker rooting, that contrast, it really disguises any visible permatease that there may be. So let's just take a look at this right here, and I'll show you what I mean. So right there, there is the slightest amount of visible permatease. I do not think it's excessive. I think that there's lots of ways you can deal with that. Number one, if you just kind of mess up that top a little bit, get in there, kind of rough up the hair at the cap, kind of pick it up and lift it up. Maybe use a little bit of product to just sort of mess that up. See how different that looks? and I barely did anything. So the more you can kind of make it a little spiky, a little messy, the less you're going to see that permatease. But honestly, to me, it's really not that big of a deal, especially since this has a lace front. And let me show you that lace front. It is fantastic. So you can see where it is, and then you don't see it at all. Look at that. They do such a good job with their lace fronts. I've always thought Tony of Beverly did a great job. I love how they tie this hair in so you don't get a stark line. It really mimics a natural hairline. Now, of course, this is a very light colored wig, so you're not going to see the knotting on this one. And so that does help. If it were a rooted wig or a dark brown wig, you'd see just a little bit more of that. But even with those, I have a couple of Tony of Beverly brunettes. I think they do a really excellent job with their lace fronts. They use very, very small knots. And if there are highlights, they do tend to bring them up to that lace front. So they do such a fantastic job with that. The fit on me, and I will be grabbing the other one in a minute and doing the comparison. I'm just trying to cover all the basics and just let's get through the kind of the need to know stuff. The fit on me, like I said, they fit pretty true to average. I get really good coverage with Tony of Beverly wigs. These ear tabs come in front of my ear and a little bit below, just where I like them, low enough that you hide my hairline, which you can sometimes see with some wigs, but not so low that I would struggle to wear glasses with them. So this one. So it's really kind of the perfect coverage on me. I really love it. So let's take a look at this other one so you can see what the Minx color looks like on me, and then let's talk about the color. Sometimes I do separate color spotlights when I'm trying to compare two wigs. And as I'm looking at the time on this video, I'm starting to wonder if I should just do a separate color spotlight. Honestly, I think it is kind of a disservice if these wigs are these videos are too long. But yet, I don't know. We'll see here. So this is the Minx color. This is the same exact wig. Let me get her adjusted. And right off the bat, my only impression is that it seems like it may be just a little bit longer in the front there. But honestly, they're both very, very similar. They are so comfortable. I just really, really enjoy both of these. Now, the other one seemed to have just a little bit more maybe lift in the front. This one a little bit wants to hang in my face, just slightly. But that is really easy. It doesn't hang in the face super heavily, and because these fibers are so light and the density is light, this is going to be easily trained. And what I mean by training is when you have wigs that want to hang in the face, sometimes if it's so severe and there's a lot of hair, you may have to resort to using heat on those to train them out of your face. Steam is usually the preferred way to do that with a regular synthetic. But sometimes just wearing it constantly sweeping it to the side, using the heat of your hands. People will say if you kind of create the friction and the heat and then you stick it on here, you can train a wig. That can work. It will take some time though. Just one time isn't really going to cut it. But I really believe that this is going to train a way. No problem. Just wearing it a few times. You can use a little bit of product, Jon Renau Peace Out Cream, a little bit of hairspray, because it is such a minimal issue. I just think that it's going to be really easy to deal with. If you are a bang wearer and you want to wear bangs with this one, look at that. It will be just simple to cut bangs in. There's not a ton of length here, and it hangs just beautifully when you pull it down. So I think if you want to put bangs in Phoebe, you can totally go for it. You're not going to have any issue with that at all. Just adorable. Let me tell you about this little comparison, and then I'm afraid I'm going to do a separate color spotlight. Sorry guys, but I'm almost at 15 minutes as it is, and I don't want to skimp on the color. So I'll do a separate color spotlight, and then that way we'll get all the details we need. Let me tell you, then I can focus on this last piece that I want to cover, which is the kind of the measurements and the comparison. And I didn't grab an Ignite, but you know what? I think I will. Since I'm not going to do the color spotlight, let me pause this for a second and let me grab an Ignite so that you can see the two of them side by side. Okay, I'm back. So let's talk about these measurements and let's throw Ignite on so you can see it, and I will take some pictures that I can tack onto the end of the side by side so you'll be able to see it side by side with Ignite and do that comparison. So first of all, Phoebe and Ignite weigh really close to the same. Phoebe weighs 2.47 ounces and Ignite weighs 2.7. So just a couple of 0.3 ounces different. They're very, very similar in weight. And where you see the biggest difference between Ignite and Phoebe is this length right here. So this is the kind of, so the front is usually the bang section. And it says that Phoebe has a 7-inch front and Ignite has an 8-inch front. I'm not really sure how that goes because I am 8 inches to my chin and this kind of comes to the tip of my nose only. So I'm not sure where they're getting that 7-inch front. But where you'll see the biggest difference is this side measurement right here. So we've got a side of 3.5 on Phoebe. That makes a lot more sense. And Ignite is 5.25. So you'll see when I put Ignite on, it goes down kind of to my chin, whereas this one stops higher. So that may be perfect for you, or it may be a deal breaker for you. It may be that you love Ignite because of the length in the front. It may be that you know, the one thing you wish were different on Ignite were that it were a little shorter. So I think, think about if you have experience with Ignite, what do you think about that? The other thing that I always like to point out on short wigs is the nape. So the nape is this right here. And I always say if a wig has less than a 2-inch nape, then it's going to be very, very important that you know where your limits are with your hairline. So for me personally, this is about as short as I can go when I'm not buzzing my hair. Ignite, if I am not buzzing, I have to actually shave or buzz completely off my hairline back here for Ignite not to show it. So Ignite is 1.5 inches. So that nape on Ignite is 1.5 inches. The nape on this piece is 1.75. That 0.25 inches could be the difference of whether you see your hairline or not. So it's very important that you get to know that about yourself if you're ever going to consider wearing super short wigs. So I believe that this one, as long as it's in place and I'm careful and I've gotten all the hair out of the cap, I believe that even if my hair were growing out a little bit, I could probably, it would be very close for me to hide it. My comfort level is probably more like 2 inches for that. But when I buzz my hair and when I make sure my neck is all cleaned up, then I have no issue with that. So keep that in mind. And one of the reasons why I wore this shirt with a little bit of a turtleneck is because I really wanted to highlight how well that works with high-necked shirts. I really, truly believe that everybody should have a short wig. I really do. Because if you're ever going to wear high-necked shirts or scarves, you may find that wearing a shorter wig is so much more comfortable and less hard on the wig. When you have longer wigs that are constantly rubbing up on your clothing, that shortens the life of that wig a little bit. So this is really going to help with that. So I highly recommend that you consider getting a shorter wig. If you don't like yourself in short wigs, I recommend getting one with a longer front. That is why I love Ignite. Let me put Ignite on for you. Oh, before I do that, let's just look at the permatease on this one. This one, I don't think the permatease is quite as visible. And part of it is, it's got some darker hair fibers. It's still not rooted, but it's not as light. And that is just a difference that you'll see sometimes between wigs. And then there's the lace. Once again, really excellent. So let me throw Ignite on for you guys, and you can see what I mean by the length being a little longer. I hope this one looks okay. She's been living in her box now for quite a while. I literally didn't even put her on to make sure she looks good. So please forgive Ignite if she isn't looking her best. She's been in her box for a long time. And of course I don't think I have a comb handy here. So my fingers are just going to have to do. All right. So right away you can see, look at that length difference. Quite different. And that's why I say that would make or break one or the other for you. This is either too much for you or Phoebe isn't enough. But both of these wigs, I have a mirror right behind my camera here, so I'm just trying to look and make sure I've got her. Both of these wigs have only a lace front. Ignite also doesn't have any monofilament or mono part. And their price points are very similar. So let's take a look at Ignite. She's got a little bit more of a stack, a little bit more of a bump right here because Ignite has quite a bit more permatease than Phoebe. All up here, it's much thicker than Phoebe's permatease, which makes this profile a lot different and she is a lot fuller. But that nape is, is shorter. So I would say if you're kind of trying to, okay, what's the takeaway here? I would say that if you love Ignite because of the volume and because of this length, Phoebe is not going to meet those expectations. The length isn't there, and most definitely the volume isn't there. This has a lot more volume than Phoebe. But if you've tried Ignite and you just felt overwhelmed by it, just the hair, the amount of hair, the permatease on it, and the extreme kind of A-line that one has, but you desperately wanted to like it. I did not put that one on right. Hold on. Then maybe Phoebe. Again, I will take some pictures side by side. There we go. Can you just see it right away? I mean, there was just so much more volume and poof and that length. It just really, they're similar, but they're not the same. It's just, I don't know, you guys. I bought these because I wanted to do the review. I really didn't think that these were probably going to be ones I would turn around and sell because of the color. I'm just loving, loving, loving this cut though. So I'm debating about whether or not I could pull this color off. I don't know about the all pure white one, but we'll talk about the color in a color spotlight here shortly. I'll get that filmed today and I'll put them out really close to each other. All right, how do you like Phoebe? What do you think about her? Had you have experience with Phoebe? Maybe you could share that experience in the comments below and help a wig sister out. I do not have an out of the box for you guys because she looked like this out of the box. I mean, both of them. They looked fantastic. They really didn't have box hair. They looked just like this. I have done nothing to either of these. I haven't put any product in them. I actually didn't even hang them up. I tried them on and said, oh, they look fabulous. And I stuck them back in their box until I was ready to do this review. So they just came looking perfect. I'm loving it. I'm just looking at my list. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. I think I am giving Phoebe 2 thumbs up. I think my only complaint is that Tony of Beverly wigs do not go on sale very often. They don't allow discounts on their wigs maybe once or twice a year. So it can be hard to find any Tony of Beverly wig on sale, which is why I wanted to snap it up when I found it on open box clearance. Whereas Jon Renau allows more frequent sales, so Ignite is going to go on sale more often. But without a sale, their price points are very, very similar. I found Phoebe for about $172 right now as I look just on I picked a random website and looked, and on that same website, Ignite was $187. So a little bit more expensive out of the gate, but you'll probably be able to find, if you hold off for a coupon, you'll probably be able to find Ignite on sale. But the con is that's heat friendly. It's not going to last as long. Even though short wigs will last longer in general, it's not going to last as long. Phoebe, if you take care of Phoebe and you don't do crazy things, you don't fry her with the oven, you know, you do a good job of caring for her, this wig is going to last you a very, very long time. With this length, I can't even imagine that it would be, I mean, the general wisdom is that synthetic wigs last between 3 and 4 months, depending on how often you wear them and how you care for them and all of those things. I would be shocked if Phoebe didn't last 6 months to a year. Honestly, that's just the way this is made and these fibers and the length. I can't imagine that she would start looking terrible very quickly. So even though you might be looking at spending $170 on a wig like this, I think you're going to get your money's worth out of it. I really do. And you can always watch for a sale or watch those clearance. Tons of websites have clearance. I make my rounds regularly to clearance sections. Wig Studio One, name brand wigs, Wig Outlet. I mean, there's so many, and just make the rounds with the clearance. And then sometimes companies will have sales on clearance, like an additional percentage off on clearance items. So definitely keep your eye on those, and you might be able to snag an open box. The only issue is most of those don't carry Tony Beverly. A lot of sites don't carry it anymore because they don't allow the coupons. But name brand wigs still does, and Vogue wigs, it might still be up on my computer over there. There's too much light over here, I can't see it. But it's like Vogue wigs or something like that. They also carry it, I know. So that's it, guys. I need to stop talking. Please let me know if you have questions. What did you think of Phoebe? And if you have any suggestions for other wigs you'd like to see reviewed, I can put it on my list. And if I can find a sale, or sometimes Wig Sisters do donate money to me to allow me to purchase something or to put towards this ministry of mine. And so, you know, sometimes if I do get lucky enough to get a donation, I might pick up a wig that has gotten a lot of requests. So thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you have a great day. I'm so appreciative of you, and I'll talk to you soon.